All right, we are live. Hello, everyone. Good evening and a warm welcome to all at MUSC Red Devils NCR. It's the end of the season, but still there is a hell lot of things to cover, a lot of things to talk about, and we are here to cover each and everything in detail. There is a lot of buzz going around, and when it comes to Manchester United, you just don't have a day which is normal. That is being Man United and being a Man United fan in a nutshell. So I have Paritosh Bhai, I have Antariksh, and I have the man who's been absent for longer than Martial has at the course of this season, and that is Sandeep Bhai. Sandeep Bhai, warm welcome to you on the stream. It's good to have you back after a huge absence. I
एफए
know
कप के
you,
लिए तो मैं आ गया लेकिन मार्शियल चला गया.
but still, उसके पहले तो मार्शल आपसे ज्यादा खेल लिया. Anyways, it's been an eventful couple of days. The season has been over, but already from the time the season has ended up until this, we've already been linked to what, around 45 to 50 players, as has been the story of United with every transfer window, and the transfer window has not even begun. So before I start, all of you guys, do smash that like button, do subscribe to our channel. It's a new month, and our new target for this month is to reach 2,500 subscribers by the end of this month. Your support does mean a lot to us, so please go ahead, smash the like button, do subscribe, do share this channel to as many United fans as possible. Also, press the bell icon so that you're notified for every video. Coming back to the topic, the most important one out of all is that Diogo Dalot has signed a contract extension up until 2028. That means that our right back situation for the next 5 years is pretty much signed, sealed, and stamped. So I'll start. I'll get the ball rolling with Paritosh Bhai. Paritosh Bhai, what are your thoughts about this Dalot extension, and also the news that Wan-Bissaka will also be at the club? So, what do you think about this right back situation finally being sorted out?
First of all, a very warm welcome to everybody. I have also been missing for the stream for a very long time. I am joining the stream here and there in a few streams, but it's good to be back. And I think every Manchester United fan is happy with the extension of Delo because more than happy, it is a sense of relief that at least we have a set right back, because always there is question marks regarding places that who is playing and who is not. It is quite clear that Delo is in the plans for Erik Ten Hag, and that was lacking. I think previously that we didn't have players who were constantly in the side and who had a particular role. Delo has a particular set role for him, and Erik Ten Hag has proved time and again that players, when a particular role is given and they are fixed within it, they are able to perform better. For the past few games, we see Sancho in the right wing role, and we see a complete transformation from the player who has been nowhere near his best ever since leaving Germany. So he has been pretty good, I think, in the past few games. And Delo is one example. Although he's not been in the greatest of forms post the World Cup, but I think still it's a very good extension, and he is one of the top players for us, who is going to play a big role going into the next season when we are challenging for the titles. Not throwing any shade on Aaron Bissaka and his contribution, and I think he is also necessary. But I do believe that the way that Manchester United want to play, Delo is more practical to the plans of Erik Ten Hag.
I totally get because we, like Ojas Bhai says, that Wan-Bissaka, Dalot, two fullbacks, contrasting abilities, contrasting quality, and contrasting skill sets, which complement each other quite nicely. So keeping both of them in that perspective is a pretty good move, which gives us two different fullbacks against with two different skill sets. When you want to play against teams who like to have the ball, who have dynamic and elite wingers, Wan-Bissaka is your man. But then when you want to impose your authority, and then in those particular situations, Dalot is the fullback that you need. Speaking about Dalot a little bit more, Antariksh, with both Dalot's and Wan Bissaka's future is more or less settled and sorted for the next 3 years at least. Keeping in mind that Aaron Wan Bissaka will be that prospective selling chip somewhere down the line. So, what do you make of that? Basically, settles our entire defensive line because Shaw has been tied down to a new contract. Dalot has been tied down to a new contract. We have Lisandro and Varane who also have a sizable amount of time left on their contracts. So that is more or less the core that has been sealed. The only key piece remaining from this core is Marcus Rashford. Do you believe that this Dalot extension means that the Rashford extension of Rashford is somewhere down the line?
Oh yeah, I mean absolutely. Rashford, like Rashford, though there is no doubt, and like we can't even think twice. You know, there are no decisions to be made here, is what I mean, and it's only it should be touchwood. Hopefully, only a matter of time before we get that out of our sight for all the right reasons. So that, but I think I'm pretty buzzed about the the extension of Dallo, but that doesn't really change anything for me in my perspective in terms of what United's business and prospective business could be. I think Wan Bissaka was the only person, who could have left the club even if Dallo hadn't signed a contract. If he would have maybe given him a contract next season or whatever, like whatever the situation. I think Wan Bissaka's departure or extension of tenure depends on two things. One, we get the likes of any young right back out for cheap. We talked about the Frimpongs and others of this world. And then the other thing also, which matters about Wan Bissaka is, if there is a club which outrightly offers us 35, 40, something, which is a bit difficult, but if they do 35, I think, क्रिस्टल पैलेस से बेशरम लाइक कौन होगा, मतलब 55 का बेच के अगले सीजन कह रही है 25 से ज्यादा नहीं देंगे, तो like that's the situation of the market and the sort of the defensive players in today's footballing world. So if someone outrightly offers us 35, I think we'll be more than happy to say, you know what, we didn't plan to sell you, but 35 is more than enough. If we invest that 35 in a young right back, well, we have another great sort of backup. And that is where I sort of sit on it. And in terms of complementing each other, I think it's perfect. And not just that, कि वो अलग-अलग games में, even in one game, like I believe Dalot would improve his defensive game being with Wan Bissaka, and Wan Bissaka would improve his offensive game being with Dalot, seeing Dalot through and through. So that is fantastic news and good. Like these sort of contract extensions, which are not pending until the deadline, show that the club is moving forward and that the players involved are buying into the plan. So pretty excited.
Yeah, I mean, for a club that has been synonymous with gross mismanagement, hyper-inflated contracts, shit transfer dealings, tying down key players well in advance of the start of the new season is something that is an entirely new and alien concept to us, and it is taking time for us to grasp it. But well, something had to give, and for
what's his wage? What's his wage now?
I think it is a substantial raise, but I don't think it's disclosed as such. I don't think there is a disclosure about his current wages. I think it was somewhere around 100 to 120, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. Correct me on the chat right if I'm wrong.
वो अभी थी.
I think that was his current wage, Dalot's current wage. So the extension has to, if I think it would be somewhere around 160 to 170, if I'm not wrong. It is a substantial amount. It is a substantial amount. But yeah, I think tying these players down is a pretty key stage of our evolution as a club because we need these players. He is on the younger side. And I still remember that Jose said that he has the potential to be our Gary Neville.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty big claim. Coming from someone like Jose. By the way, commiserations to Jose for losing the Europa final. No, I genuinely wanted Jose to win.
And Anthony Taylor at his best.
In all respect to Anthony Taylor, he arguably had the best game of his season. I have an entirely different view as far as the penalty is concerned, which might be unpopular, but I don't think that was a penalty. But in that game, although Lamela deserved to be sent off, that's what I feel. But overall, Anthony Taylor
had that before.
Yeah,
Lamela
but
deserved to be sent off.
yes, we do. We've been in that movie. We've been the protagonists of that movie in
And
the earlier
Mourinho was
exchange.
involved on the other side.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
exactly, exactly. But commiserations. But anyways, Dalo being signed is a very good business. Now let us come to the crux of the matter, and that has been this huge raft of transfer rumors that have been swirling around ever since late last night and early morning from today. Sandeep, I want to start with you on this. The first player that has automatically made the rounds is Mason Mount, the 24-year-old England midfielder. Apparently, as per the Telegraph is to be stated, has already agreed personal terms with the club. However, the sticking point here is the fee. While United are content to do business around the price range of 50 to 55, Chelsea are pretty adamant on the fact that they want nothing less than 80, considering the fact that this guy has 1 year left on his contract. Rishabh Dogra says that if we want to challenge for the titles, we need signings. Yes, absolutely, we do. And we need quick signings, as Neha said, that we will have to have signings as quickly as possible so that Ten Hag gets enough players to, go ahead and start his preseason with the philosophy embedded in the new players. So, Sandeep bhai, speaking about Mason Mount, if the deal is in its final stages, as we are made to believe, do you think that it is a good signing, and why? Let's talk about that.
So I think Mason Mount has not had a good season. I mean, Chelsea has not had a good season. But last year, if you remember, Rashford, Sancho, Bruno, I mean, majority of our players had a very bad season. And it was like we were telling that Rashford could be sold, and all those things. And Rashford has just scored 30 goals. So I think one bad season doesn't define you. Mason Mount absolutely has potential. And where I want to come down on the matter is that I have trust in Ten Hag. If he wants a signing this to be done this early, that means it is at the top of his priority list to get in the players he wants. So Mason Mount can clearly bridge the gap that Eriksen is aging, and he can play the number 8 position behind Bruno and in front of and with and in front of Casemiro. I think that would form a good trio. I never would have imagined that Chelsea would sell their Chelsea born and bred Mason Mount kind of. It would be us. It would be like us selling Rashford. I never thought it would be possible, but Chelsea have their own problems right now. Let's not go there. So Mason Mount incoming, I would say it's a good decision, and I'm like, there are two flip sides to the coin. I am happy to see my club doing business and having talks this early, but I mean, without the settlement of without the matters being settled with the owners, I mean, are the Glazers staying? Are they going? Is Richard Arnold and John Murta doing a good job so that they can show their new masters that we are capable? I mean,
another way of looking at this is maybe we've already got the influx of new cash.
Right,
Perhaps.
and it's been kept quiet, and maybe at the FA Cup there would be some reveal or something like that. I don't know. The Glazers can do anything. The Glazers can do anything. They're just shameless piece of crap, and the Glazers can do anything. So I am really worried about this because the Saturday is the FA Cup final. I'm sure that rat with the wavy hair will come to Wembley and show his awful face. And maybe he's planning something here, maybe it's not. And like Neha says, I agree that Mount will play as an 8 alongside Casemiro. And Ojas also said Mount has submitted the transfer request. That's telling, that's telling that Mount is also trying to get out of a bad situation in Chelsea. So maybe the Shaw, Mount, and Declan Rice matchup will be good at Man United.
Are we spreading our beddings a little too far down our legs, Sandeep bhai? We need to be very careful about what we say. But Neha makes a very valid point about Mount playing as a free 8. So Antriksh, the free 8 concept is something that Ten Hag has used earlier in his Ajax days as well, where he has 2 free 8s to supplant this defensive midfielder. Where in Ajax it was Van de Beek and Frenkie. It could potentially be Mason Mount and Declan Rice. I'm saying potentially because I don't know how true is the Declan Rice rumor, whether his father has actually spoken to us or no. For now, I personally believe that Rice is headed to Arsenal, with Bayern Munich closely monitoring the situation. Another way of looking at Mount signing is that homegrown quota, because especially keeping in mind with the fact that we will be selling a lot of these players, they are English. You see Maguire, you see Axel Tuanzebe, then you see Elanga. While Elanga is Swedish, he classifies as a homegrown player because he was from the academy. Then you have the likes of Brandon Williams, all these guys. They are homegrown, and you need to have at least 8 homegrown players in a side of 25. So signing Mount on that aspect will be key. But what do you think is that salary of 200k? Is that a little too much for someone who's entering the final year of his Chelsea contract? Or do you think that considering his age, that's 24, and the highly mythical English tax that we always keep talking about, do you think that 200,000 a week is a justified salary for someone who's not exactly had the best of seasons in a Chelsea shirt?
No, man, I'm just absolutely gutted with the numbers that are being thrown around. I don't know why it's like us who always comes out as the desperate club when it's clearly fucking Chelsea. Look at that club. That club is a mess. One thing which new owners don't want is, bargaining for 5-10 million. Naya owner aaya, they like the way he spent money. I don't really think 5-10 million usko itna. But the amounts that are quoted to us as a club, I just have had. He's in his final year, and he has competition from around 15 other midfielders, which he is never going to get ahead of because the manager and the club internally don't fancy him now. And he was their homegrown boy, but God forbid, if the homegrown boys like that look at the club, then and that indeed is the situation of the club. वो बंदा जाना चाह रहा है. Chelsea को as such पैसे की requirement नहीं है. We are very early with our bid. There are no other possible suitors than a sniffing Liverpool who is outside thoda sa involved. And he's a club that we want. Still, it's 200k and 80 million. He's in his final year, for fuck's sake. मुझे नहीं समझ आता what is with Man United and these price quotes which they do to us. I'm really fed up. I just don't think we should go a penny more than 45, maximum 50. Maximum 50, because that is enough, yaar. Mason Mount is he's potential. He's still potential. He's not gone 2 full seasons fulfilling his potential, someone like a Foden has, or someone like a Declan Rice. He's potential.
Well, to be actually fair to Mount, I see Mount for me in an England shirt, downright atrocious. He's a menace in all the wrong reasons. But in a Chelsea shirt, like Kshitij Bhai says in the chat, Mount was Chelsea Player of the Year for 2 out of the 3 seasons in the past. Now, definitely, now before this, before the 3000,
Lampard का second coming बोल रहे थे वो लोग अपने.
he was great under Tuchel also. Now,
He was decent. He was.
नहीं जो जिस साल उन्होंने चैंपियंस लीग जीता ना उस साल that year he was really good. Champions League, the year they won the Champions League against City, he was really good. I can't deny that.
The thing is, if you give 70-80 million for a player who's 1 साल के contract में,
not 70. No 70.
I'm just saying,
one thing
that means you're ready to pay 150 for him when he's under a full contract, approx that.
अंतरिक्ष भाई ये क्या है ना मैं बोल रहा हूँ ये as Neha rightly says our negotiators are very poor. हम लोग के वहां जो जाते हैं भाई रैबियो के मम्मी are is keeping them hostage. I mean that's just bad.
This is what reputation does, right? This is what reputation does. जब आप you have a reputation of
Exactly.
overpaying shit players, तो हमको भी दो भाई, हम भी पैसा खाएंगे. It's sort of that. And also the success factor depends on it, When you're Mateo Kovacic, he'll be done in 5 days, to City. I'm so pissed, bhai. You needed a ball carrier. You needed someone who could. Kovacic will be done in 20-30 million. Get it signed right now.
Kovacic is not the profile we are looking for, I guess.
See,
he is.
He's a ball carrier.
He is. Yeah, he
No,
is.
the age profile. I mean, Eriksen is 31. Casemiro is 31. Kovacic is 29. And
Not
Ten Hag
bad.
is willing to push it.
Perfect यार और क्या चाहिए हमें?
No, Ten Hag already has Casemiro for that. If we bring in that guy like from Porto, the CDM, what was his name?
Ugarte is from Lisbon.
Ugarte. Oh, Lisbon. If we bring in that Ugarte, he will be playing second fiddle to Casemiro and learning under his wing. So I think Ten Hag is trying to.
Kovacic would be that profile जो ball carry करके देगा, जो अभी ब्रूनो को deep drop करना पड़ता है. Bruno could retain his position and he could be the one who could carry like the Frankie De Jong we were looking for the whole of last season.
But
True, but see, that is the thing. Frankie De Jong is 24, 25, and that would be perfect for us. 29, I think, would be a bit too old for our team. It's my opinion. I'm just
yeah,
saying.
playing the devil's advocate here, I think we have enough players in that win now age category, you know, where we want these players for a win now mentality. Like we have Eriksen, we have Casemiro. So I think we have enough players around that age group. So I don't mind Mason Mount, but I am circumspect about the price. 85 million for Mount doesn't ring a good taste in my ears. Like someone said in the in the chat, like use that money to get either Ugarte or Casemiro. Yeah, that's Vishal Bhai who says it. So Ugarte or Casemiro and then Mount 45 million. That sounds like a pretty fair. That sounds like a pretty fair deal. And Ugarte has been brilliant. If you want to have a snapshot of how Ugarte operates, just go ahead and watch the Arsenal Lisbon quarterfinal, the round of 16. Arsenal Lisbon round of 16. Ugarte was fucking everywhere. He did not score, but he was absolutely everywhere in that game. And the fact that he's Uruguayan, we already have a lot of Latinos, a lot of South Americans in our squad. Integration becomes very easy. Now, speaking about another transfer target. Now, this was all about Mount. So, before I go to the next topic, before I go to the next transfer target, Antariksh bhai, what is your probability meter of the Mount transfer happening out of 10?
Before I answer that, एक question आप लोगों से. 45 million for Mount, like if you get him for 45 for Mount or 75, 80 for Caicedo, what did you go for?
I'd go for the upside of Caicedo. If person saying yes, he's much more refined.
I would say 60 to 65 for Caicedo and we're good to go.
No,
75 बहुत ज्यादा हो जाएगा.
नहीं, अगर 80 और 45 है प्राइस तो बताओ.
No, then it's 45 for Mount.
Right, fair enough. All right.
What about you?
Caicedo hands down.
For 80 million.
वो जो 6 मिलियन का छोड़ा हमने उसको इंटरपेंडेंटे
There is a reason. There is a reason we've left. People obviously people will shit on us for letting him go, but the reason for it is that his agency was pretty dodgy. He had multiple agents. That is the reason why we did not go for him. Not a lot of
Haaland को क्यों नहीं खरीदे यार?
Not a lot of people know that. Nice.
Not a lot of people know that. He had very dodgy representation. So it's this January that he finally got rid of them.
Yeah.
At the same time, so that is why now people are like, if only we bought him for 5 million. Dude, we would have bought him for 5 million, but the shit we would have gotten for because there is a law that there is no third party rep allowed in English football. So we had to be very careful, and it was a good thing. It's very easy to talk with hindsight. Give credit where it's due that we let him go because of the sketchy representation. So had to pay a heavy price, but then at least we talked to one agent only and not multiple agents at the same time. Yeah.
Right. I think of the transfer happening, I would say I think it will happen. I think it will happen and we will overpay, I think. Yeah.
Neha believes Ten Hag is not fond of Caicedo.
Even I agree. I agree.
Could be. Do we see another Pep here? If you know, you know. If you know, you know. So, Paritosh bhai, we've spoken about Mount. What is your probability meter of the Mount transfer happening out of 10? Paritosh bhai, hello. I'll come back to you. Sandeep bhai, what according to you out of 10 as the chances of the Mount transfer happening?
I think it's pretty high now. I mean, like Athletic and all the top tier journalists are reporting it. So maybe it's a 7 out of 10.
I think it's a 6.5, I believe.
Whoa.
Yeah, 6.5 to be honest. I think there is a fair chance, but Chelsea have all the power. We can say that much. So Chelsea hold all the cards in this
But
negotiation.
why? They are the ones who
I
have
don't
to
think
sell.
so. Exactly,
But
they have to. They have
but ये
to sell.
price से लग रहा है that they have it. The prices they are quoting कि they have the cards. Why?
Right.
That is the dilemma. That is my problem.
That basically means they do have the cards in their favor, right? The price is the main
Yeah, but I
point.
don't think they'll be able to hold on to it much longer because they need to sell because they have bought in a
हाँ.
shitload of players.
Where is DOF Todd Bowley when you need him, guys? Come on, where is he when you need him?
Todd
So-
Bowley is just a pleasure for the other clubs.
Yeah, he must be asking all his people, where are my draft picks? Well, let's talk about the next player and Neha, who's been very active on the stream. Thank you so much, Neha. She's given us a very good segue. The next player is the namesake of Erling Haaland, that is Rasmus Højlund from Atalanta.
I couldn't wait. Right. It's
Yeah.
Rasmus.
It's Rasmus Højlund. So now the Athletic reports that we've had formal conversations with Atalanta to inquire for the transfer of Højlund. Just to give a brief laydown about this guy, he's 20 years old. He's Danish. He's come from the Austrian Bundesliga, similar to a certain Norwegian on the other side of Manchester, and he's had a pretty decent season in Syria for his age profile. If you consider under 23 players who've had good seasons, Højlund ranks there. He's had a good season, and there has been a lot of concrete interest from our side to inquire about his services. Now, from what I have seen, the guy is decent. Not decent. I mean, he's very good for a 20-year-old. So, what are your thoughts on the potential Højlund saga going on? Do you think, on the face value of it all, with the info that you guys have, do you believe that he could be the striker that we need, or does he actually fit with the Ten Hag system or the way that Ten Hag wants to play his ball? Anyone can
For me?
pick. Yeah, anyone. Anyone can go for.
So actually, I think Rasmus Højlund is a player who can play the number two, the substitute striker for the main striker we get, be it a Kane, be it a Victor Osimhen, or be it a Gonzalo Ramos or someone like that. So I think having two strikers is very important right now because Anthony Martial is just not dependable, and I think we have brought in the potential superstars before. Like Ten Hag is the perfect manager to make someone into a superstar, and I think he fits the profile also for a United way. And see, if Højlund performs well again next season, again his agents and his club would be quoting a 80 million, 90 million figure. So better we get him for 40 to whatever his quote is, 40 to 50, and let's get him in and keep him for the future. And also we get a main striker who would be playing as the number one choice, like Vlahovic or Gonzalo Ramos. I really like Gonzalo Ramos a lot because he has got that dog in him to be the Manchester United striker. I really like him, and I like Victor Osimhen would be the best pick, but I don't think 120, 150 million would be given out to Napoli right now. It's just my view.
Also, his there is a sticking point as far the Osimhen transfer is concerned. His girl is German, so he's inclined to move to the Bundesliga.
ये सब भी है. अरे क्या बात.
I mean, मर्द अपनी पसंदीदा औरत के लिए कुछ भी कर सकता है यार. Come on. ये सब भी है.
then तो Rabiot को सलाम भाई.
That's his. There's a difference, dude. That's his.
John Lennon को छोड़ के भाई तो कहाँ पे Victor Osimhen? Anyway.
So I think Sandeep Bhai and Neha have some sort of telepathic understanding like Dwight York and Andy Cole, because what Sandeep Bhai said, it's the exact same thing that Neha said, that if he has a great season, his price will be doubled. So it might as well, instead of risking paying 30-40 million extra next year, might as well snap him up this year itself on a lower price, which is not exactly low, but then still at a price that is reasonable for both sides. Even Bertrand Suarez, welcome to the stream. Bertrand says that Hoyland and Kane give us a young and experienced player
Exactly,
for a
that's what I
striker
was
profile.
saying.
So speaking about, Neha also says girls very important. See Frankie last year, because his girlfriend wanted to stay in Catalonia, he ended up. You have a point there, Neha. You do have a very, very valid point, understandably so. So Bertrand's mentioned about Harry Kane. Antriksh, let's talk about Harry Kane. So the guy apparently has no sense of shame, no self-respect. The guy only wants 260 goals, and he doesn't mind if he doesn't win any trophy for it. Because apparently the guy wants to stay another year at Spurs. Heaven knows why. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
I know. I think this is just PR working its finest. झूठ झूठ उसके चेहरे पे दिखता है। वो जो वो मीम नहीं आता कि एक झोपड़ी के आगे लैम्बोर्गिनी खड़ी है, Kane in this Spurs side. This is that. He must be seeing that and weeping. खत्म हो जाता होगा बेचारा अंदर से कि कहाँ फंस गया मैं, what do I
यार
do, you know?
अच्छा होता, आई एम सॉरी फॉर कटिंग, अच्छा होता वो वाले सीजन में केन सिटी चला जाता, हालैंड हमारे पास आ जाता.
Exactly. Man, जब वो हो रहा था ना, there were legends who were saying अभी ये बाद में रोगे, एक साल बाद रोगे, because there were murmurs about Haaland here and there. But I still believe भाई Haaland गया तो गया, but Kane भैया, I just believe, पता नहीं मतलब unpopular सा opinion है, but I just think he's the best player in the Premier League मेरे हिसाब से. I think you know at par with, मतलब मैं Haaland के साथ just मतलब you know people what Harry name is enough. That got me out. That got me out. मेरा पूरा chain of thought ऐसे काट दिया. Harry name is enough.
Harry Maguire.
Exactly. But like, no, what I mean is people are not realizing एक टीम जिसने यूरोप नहीं करा, despite the Europa Conference League coming in. So you imagine 7th 8th finish करी हुई side का striker scoring 30 goals. How would that be celebrated? Ollie Watkins 15 गोल मार देता था तो उसको इंग्लैंड कॉल अप आ जाता है कि भैया ये तो यूनाइटेड माइट स्नैप हिम अप. उससे दुगने गोल्स मारे हैं, उसका लिंक अप, उसका असिस्ट. He passes like De Bruyne. I have no other wo. I'm not
And
even.
Rashford.
Go on.
No. Sorry. Rashford can do the Son role for him.
Yeah, exactly. वो रनिंग वाले उसमें I just am in awe of Kane. And Mount की दूसरी दिक्कत है, अगर हमने सेम प्रोफाइल देखो, अंग्रेज इंग्लैंड 1 year left on his contract, अगर उसके 80 दे दिए भाई, फिर क्या कोट करेगा डैनियल लीवी? इसके तुम 80 दे रहे हो, 60 दे रहे हो, what the fuck would he quote then? Like it's heaven again.
There is a reason why that guy is one of the most hated negotiators in world football, man. Not only England, the whole world hates him. Real Madrid have the worst. Real Madrid have the worst experience negotiating with him.
जिस तरीके से उसने केन को रखा, and you know all this crap about Kane ये कर रहा है, like look at him, like he gave a 30 goal season यार, उसके बाद प्रीमियर लीग में like जिस तरीके से रखा, it's not even कि you know he's not performing or he's just there, he's just like अब की लेवी सोच रहा है भाई एक साल बेच दो, वो 30 गोल मार रहा है. लेवी like is all the more sort of वो कि नहीं bro नहीं, but again then he'll go for free next season. So while we think कि cards उसके हाथ में है, maybe नहीं है, maybe if we play the patient game, और कौन है उसको नहीं जाना इंग्लैंड छोड़ के.
No, actually here Harry Kane has to speak up and act. If he doesn't hand in a transfer request, he won't be sold.
He will. He did उस वक्त भी, but वो प्राइस इतना outrageously high रख देता है कि then कुछ हो नहीं पाता. That is what I'm saying कि अभी जैसे माउंट के भी सीन में Chelsea have to sell, इसमें भी वो अगले साल फ्री जाएगा, तो कितने भी गोल निकाले टॉटनम को, लेवी को भी पता है.
All I want is the striker to come in first. Striker जल्दी आ जाए.
But
होल अगस्त चला जाएगा, 4 गेम हो जाएगा, उसके बाद केन आएगा, कोई फायदा नहीं है.
फायदा फिर भी
पकड़ रहा होगा टॉटनम के लिए 4 गेम बाद.
फायदा फिर भी है, but let's so you mentioned Mount and Chelsea, Antriksh, but the problem here is Chelsea don't have a problem in dealing with direct rivals. they don't mind selling their players to direct rivals. They say
तो टॉटनम भी थोड़ी बेच रही है ब्रेंटफोर्ड को, हमें बेच रही है.
Tottenham that's the big problem. Tottenham think we are their direct rivals. Now that is funny in itself, but you have to understand that that guy is not going to sell Kane for less than 100 at all. He's not selling Kane for less than 100 million. It is a take it or leave it price for us. That's very simple. And as far Neha spoke about Kane signing 7-year contracts, you have to blame his brother. Never use your family for representation. Never. It just doesn't make sense. And Harry Kane is learning that the hard way.
लेवी के माइंड में नहीं चल रहा होगा अगले साल फ्री.
Of course it will. Of course he will. But then he might as well try to get as much. It's like Glazers milking us. Milk us one last time. That would be the Levy mindset when it comes to Kane.
Like Levy can also think of one more thing, that this summer striker market is absolutely important, and there are a whole lot of strikers on the market. This season, they all get their targets, and Kane will see that he has no option but to renew maybe, because he might not be bought next year, or he might not be getting a good wage. This would be his last contract, mind you. So he might just end up, staying his career at Tottenham, breaking the PL record, not winning a single PL. So we never
doesn't matter. What is the point of scoring so many goals when you cannot win a Premier League title?
And
even Shearer has a Premier League title.
Exactly. And I would not go any high above 70 to 75.
What are these reports saying कि उनको Kane wants? They don't have a fucking manager. It's like Levy अपना बचा हुआ पैसा लगा रहे हैं in खरीदing these media outlets, man. Like it's shit.
So
चलो Kane से आगे बढ़ते हैं.
Yeah, well, I think this is another example of telepathic understanding, Sandeep bhai. Make of that what you will. So,
by the way, I am not chatting with Neha, okay?
I did not say that. So, there is a big cloud of uncertainty as to what exactly is Greenwood standing at the club. Sources at the club still maintain that there is an internal investigation which is going on, and the final verdict of that investigation is only going to take place after having a thorough consultation with the women's team and all the other stakeholders of the club. So that is the latest new piece of news that is making the rounds as far as the Greenwood situation is concerned. Now, I have made my opinions very clear about where I stand with this Greenwood situation. I do not want him at the club. I'm saying it out there once again. I do not want Mason Greenwood anywhere near the club, irrespective of him being a generational talent. Yes, but no. Although the sad reality is that we could see him play for the club. So let's just assume. Let's just play the hypothetical game here. This question is for both of you guys. Let's play the hypotheticals. Let's say Greenwood stays at the club. So that's one striker. So then it could free up space for either one of the n number of strikers that were linked in. Another name that is making the rounds is Randall Kolo Muani from Eintracht Frankfurt. So we have the likes of Kolo Muani who's linked with us. We have Harry Kane who's linked with us. We have Rasmus Højlund who's linked with us. And then Sandeep bhai said that there is Gonzalo Ramos as well. So and Osimhen obviously. So these five, you get one out of these five. Let's talk about the Greenwood situation first on the hypotheticals. And let's talk about who do you think would be the striker that you would look for out of the five names that I just quoted. I'll start with Sandeep bhai. Sandeep bhai, let's see. What are your thoughts on this entire Greenwood situation? First, do you think he still has a future with the club? This is the hypothetical. Let's play the hypothetical game here. Do you believe that he has a future with the club? If he does, which of the five strikers would you select?
Okay. So coming to the first question, it's my opinion and it's a very sensitive topic. I do not want to offend anyone. I do not want any kind of, it's just a disclaimer. It's just my opinion. And what I think is that Greenwood is at fault for what he did, but I think he should be sent on loan next season, first of all. I don't think, he still has a contract with Manchester United and he should be given a loan spell at another club. I think people might, it's a very hard decision for the club. I mean, even I am struggling, and Neha says, I don't know if I would celebrate. I would celebrate that goal, but I don't know how I would feel for celebrating that goal. So, and it was, by the way, let me just say one thing on the entire situation. It was a gross carriage of injustice, because that should not have been leaked. That video, tape or whatever, that should not have been leaked. It should only have been for the legal department to handle. And I think that if it had not been leaked, many of the people would be, saying that he is not criminally wrong. Then why are you tearing up his contract? So there might be legal ramifications for tearing up his contract right now. So I think the ideal situation would be, according to me, you send him on loan for a season. He will perform, because he has not played for 2 years, 1.5 seasons. So it will not be that he will be directly back and ready into the first team. So I think that Greenwood as a striker for next season should not come into the decision making on the what we do for the upcoming summer transfer window. So, and it's very important that we put everything into consideration before we integrate Greenwood back into the team. Now, coming to the second question, out of those 5 strikers, my ideal situation would be a Victor Osimhen and a Gonzalo Ramos, but that's not happening. That's 250 million right there. So, like Victor Osimhen, the experienced one, and the Gonzalo Ramos, the underling. So, I think a realistic one would be Kane and Højlund. If not Kane, then I think it would be Gonzalo Ramos and Højlund.
Just one striker, Sandeep bhai. Assuming the hypothetical is that Greenwood stays, which means we will have to buy only one striker out of the 5.
Okay, then I think I would go for Kane.
All right. So, Bertrand, you've put a very valid point. I, Sandeep bhai, and Antriksh bhai also know the exact ramifications and what exactly the other things are there. But we are playing the hypothetical game here. We are not saying that Mason Greenwood will play for the club. We're just assuming on hypotheticals that this is like a what if Mason Greenwood plays for the club in the future. So that is the scenario currently. And as far as your question of Marcus Thuram is concerned, yes, Thuram is also an upcoming free agent. But whether or not we look at him is another proposition altogether. His name hasn't popped up yet, so I don't think he's going to be considered as well. So, Antriksh, what is your take on this hypothetical?
On the Greenwood issue, I'm like inclined towards neither, to be honest. मुझे इतना strongly ये भी नहीं लग रहा है कि इसको बिल्कुल नहीं खेलना चाहिए, because unfortunately I am limited in my information and my knowledge. There have been very high profile players जो have gone and like been away with it, and the second point being कि legal system तो legal system है, अब जो हुआ वो legality के हिसाब से हुआ, तो it's cool. The other side of me, जो इतना ज़्यादा who doesn't come in a suit and talk, is the practical side, who knows कि legal side किस तरीके से handle होती है, and how suddenly the people who were out there for the case have just disappeared now. And there are no sort of people left out to जो भी उसे वो word कहते हैं, legal term I forgot. Delvin Bhai would know. I don't know. Delvin Bhai?
Innocent until proven guilty. No.
There was this specific statement which was going around, right? कि अब वो बचे नहीं. Like what was this? Victim? No, not victims. जो
acquittal?
Yeah. हाँ, ये सब लोग मतलब भाग गए जो. Someone just left the chat and case close हो गया मतलब.
Like the witness didn't turn up. The witness didn't turn up basically.
Yeah, the witness लोग भाग गए. Witness लोग अब like suddenly they don't. So like there are two sides to it. Hence why I like strongly, मेरे को एक side पे भी नहीं लगता है कि ये है ये. But संदीप भैया के point पे मेरे को हंसी आ गई. कहते कि उसे लोन पे भेज दो. तो it's almost like ये हल्के से चाटा मार. You want him here. You just मतलब आपको चाहिए कि मतलब ग्रीनवुड रहे, राइट? इट्स लाइक सॉफ्टनिंग द ब्लो कि चल एक साल तू उधर खेल थोड़ा ड्रामा होता है, फिर इधर आई हो. तो इट्स लाइक इट्स स्वीट. बट हाँ मतलब but wait, exactly as Neha said, he's innocent in the eyes of law, but public is what matters again. So coming
before you continue, charges being dropped is not exactly innocent. Yeah. And I agree with what she's saying. It should not it should actually be eyes of the law and not eyes of the public, because the public is very quick in getting to judgment. And as far as the eyes of the law, he's not exactly innocent, but the charges are dropped. So if you go on to the technicalities, he is a free man, but he's not innocent. Let's make this very very clear. Let's make this crystal clear that when a charge is dropped, you're not. It doesn't equal to innocent. That is what I'm saying.
You know, there would be a
Antariksha.
huge PR drive. There would be a huge PR drive from Manchester United if they keep trying to.
There is one as we speak. As we speak, unbeknownst to us, we may not know head or tail about it, but
Right.
there is a huge PR drive. This could arguably be one of the biggest PR drives in the history of our club. If
Yeah.
if we want to come out of it looking as
I
the
mean,
good
I
guys,
just want to say kudos to Eric Ten Hag, man. How much shit he has handled in these few months.
absolutely.
I mean, Eric Ten Hag is.
Ronaldo, people, my little brother was asking Ronaldo, इसी season गया ना? It seems that long
Exactly.
ago.
Exactly.
Kudos, yaar, kudos. See, this is what like sort of results too. अगर हार रहे होते, तो this would have been like the longest 6 months we have faced as fans and him as a person and a manager. But ऐसे निकला, एक trophy निकला, we went on, we kept winning. So things were like normal, and वो भी वहाँ पे second आ गया, वो भी
And
जीतते गए,
there was
तब
a
से भी
time
निकल-
we lost 3 matches on the trot in April. We lost 3 matches.
Three.
And still two losses and a draw, I think ऐसा कुछ था.
The FA
And
Cup
there was
final, the FA Cup final, the semi-final, which was a draw, and the 2 losses. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was मैं सोचा गया सीजन कि मतलब प्लेयर नहीं दोगे क्या करोगे बट brilliant comeback by the manager.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But that's not only Ten Hag. That's almost every manager who's come into United has aged more in 1 year
नहीं
than
भाई
they've done in
पॉटर
their life.
नहीं भाई इस साल तो
I'm
पॉटर
talking
एज हुआ है
United. I'm
नहीं
talking
नहीं मैं बोल रहा
United.
हूँ एज हुआ है पॉटर भाई
Potter age. Didn't look old. Potter looked like this guy who was tired with life, and he's just come into the dugout from a bar. एक पौवा लगा के आ गया है dugout में खड़े रहने. That's how much toll that Chelsea job took on him. Yeah. So Antariksh, continue with your scenario. Yeah. I'm sorry to keep you waiting for so long.
और
But yeah.
it was like wait कि, one thing which is absolutely clear is Saido. If he hadn't been the caliber that he is, he would have been nowhere near football. ठीक है. So that also gives us a sort of a light as to क्या है. But then again, there is no इधर या उधर 100% I can't sort of pick my hand. But on the on in a good world wherein कुछ नहीं हमें consider करना है and just हम ले सकते हैं उसे and we do take him and he is here to play, then I would say I am like भैया फिर गुस्सा कोई नहीं होना, सिर्फ फुटबॉल कह रहा हूँ, उस पूरे पिच पे कह रहा हूँ. I am one of the biggest fans of Greenwood. मेरे को वो इंसान
Absolutely.
I don't even need to look at the list. जो भी सबसे cheap है उसमें उठा लो. The list is decent. कोलो मुआनी को छोड़ के थोड़ा ही लगता है मेरे को बस. वो भी उसको इतना नहीं देखा. It's just my mind thinking of जो उसने मिस किया last में World Cup. It's
25 goal involvements in his first season in the Bundesliga.
हाँ, but मैं वही कह रहा हूँ. That is a secondary point for me altogether. मेरा ये है जो उस पूरी लिस्ट में सबसे सस्ता मिल जाता है, जिसपे सबसे कम सरदर्दी हो नेगोशिएशन की, प्लस सस्ता उठाओ. ग्रीनवुड का बैकअप खेलेगा वो. बात 1.5 साल नहीं खेला है वो, जो उसे खेलने वो टैलेंट मीट्स टैलेंट है वो. ही इज लेफ्ट एंड राइट बूट. बॉर्नमथ का गेम, एवर्टन 1-1 इक्वलाइजर, दोस गोल्स मैन.
Aston Villa.
Oh,
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa. That control and shoot, man.
Even the Liverpool FA Cup game, the control, the
Robertson,
control.
sure.
Yes.
Andy Robertson shouting.
And sorry, like what about those reports कि he was having a baby with the same girl, I guess. क्या है वो?
Yeah, I think they're about to get
still
married.
It's still a report. Nothing has come out of it. We do not know exactly whether it's actually true, whether she's actually expecting or what. Just like I said, the PR drive is in effect as we speak. This could be that. So we don't exactly know what the situation is as far as personal life is concerned. So we'll have to wait and see as to what exactly the Greenwood situation is, because there is a small matter of the ownership also coming into play. And like Bertrand put in a case of very, very valid points that, that Well, if Bertrand's points also, if you take into consideration, it is a very big thing to, it will not take it will take a huge amount of time to come up with a proper decision that benefits all parties that are involved. Because let's be clear here, we're talking about a lot of stakeholders when Man United as a club or as an institution is taken into consideration. So the other target that is being made into consideration is, like we said you spoke about Gonzalo Ramos, Sandeep bhai, then the likes of Randall Cole, Muani, so many strikers. But at the end, like Antrik said, in the end, which striker comes in with the least amount of hassle should be the one that we should look for. Again, while the quality also needs to be taken into consideration and the stylistic fit, I think Antariksh's point makes a lot of sense about the player with the least amount of hassle. So yeah,
Greenwood aa gaya, then so it's like a different debate altogether.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be having an entire
But like,
yeah,
we
like
shouldn't plan for us tarike se, ki if he comes, if he doesn't give up. That
Just
either
go
if
with
the
the worst
club
case
is
scenario.
certain, either if the club is certain and they're not getting public with it, if Ten Hag knows, which some people are suspecting he was hinting at it.
And I think Ten Hag kind of likes him. I mean, he has just given us hints like he would be ready to work with him. I'm just saying he would be ready to work with him.
It's like a marriage of convenience. That is what a manager has to do. When you're put in the pickle of a situation like this, when you have, remember, this guy's come from Netherlands. He would have a superficial knowledge of what has happened. When you do not know much about it, and when the situation is as
the 1 year he's been here, he must have been informed.
He's asked, and throughout the years,
Really?
managers he could have just gone. He could have just gone and said, "Ki bhaiya case hone do pehle."
Exactly.
Every time he's commented on his footballing ability. Aayega to
Right.
Which is the right thing to say. He's making all the right noises. Of course, the manager's job initially is to look from the footballing side of things. He is not now. We've gone through different schools of management. Now, not every manager likes to become a father to a lot of those players outside the confines of the training ground. Long gone are those days where Sir Alex used to have yeah, those days are long gone. I mean, there are some clubs who would function that way, but I don't think a wide variety of these clubs do it anymore. Look at Man City, for example. Pep himself said that they drank all the alcohol in Manchester, so make of that what you will. So in that case, I don't know whether Ten Hag would want to look into it for Greenwood as the person, but you give any manager the prospect of working with Greenwood as a player, they will jump in head first as far as the footballing ability is concerned. That guy's generational. We use the term generational a lot, and we use it left, right, and center for all the wrong players. But Mason Greenwood is as close to that perfect definition of generational as they come. No 2 points about it. So you give the same guy to Guardiola. Guardiola will just strip. Like, please give me that player. Imagine
Garnacho, Rashford, Greenwood. Oh my God.
This is a nightmare scenario for all of us. But imagine this: Greenwood, Haaland, Julian Alvarez. Yeah, exactly. I'm just giving
oh my God.
I'm just giving you a nightmare scenario. That's what I'm talking about. That expression just shows how talented Greenwood is as a footballer. That is what I was trying to get at. Like, yeah. And also not to forget that we will have to make our striker business as quickly as possible, because there is a Real Madrid size problem which has come up now, with Benzema making it obviously confirming it that okay. All right. Okay. This is getting very hilarious. So Neha says Ram Juice is the one. Let's hope he is. But let's come to the serious part. Benzema's announced that he's going to leave the club. So that means.
He has to leave.
That means.
He has to leave.
That means.
He has to leave.
Real Madrid have a striker gap, and they will be in the market for a striker. Now, what if whoever we decide to make our striker, we have to make it very quick, and we have to be very fast in our negotiations, dealings, announcements, so on and so forth. Because one thing is for certain, despite the fact that it is 2023, whenever Real Madrid enter in the market,
Yeah.
they will always be top dog, irrespective it is United competing against them. Take Jude Bellingham, for example. The guy loved Liverpool. The guy wanted to join Liverpool. But when
There was
Madrid
no
came calling,
competition once they entered. Kuch, there was nothing. And
exactly.
Just,
Papa Perez is the man.
Liverpool literally had to say that we don't have the money just because they wanted to get out of the embarrassment that Real Madrid came for him. That's how. That's what you call pull power. That's what you call pulling power. Like, yeah.
The fax
But-
machine comes to mind.
Yeah, exactly, Neha. We don't do quick deals. But so I want to drop in another transfer target, and that's David Raya. Now we've spoken about we've spoken about all the positional needs that we've had. There was we've spoken about this a lot in streams. There was a right back talking about where the right back position is sorted right now. That's nothing that we have to worry about, at least for the next 3 to 4 years. There is a centre back which is being discussed. As of now, the top priority is Kim Min-jae, but there are the likes of Benjamin Pavard and the other names that have been floated into the mix. Let's see how that goes. Apparently, we are ahead in the race. Newcastle are a close second as far as signing Kim Min-jae is concerned. Then strikers, everyone knows who are the midfielders. It's Mason Mount and a few more put into the mix. Kovacic also was included, but now I think he's most likely headed to the blue side. I still wouldn't mind taking Calvin Phillips. Let's see. So
City और Leeds के बाद United आए उसको.
I don't mind. I don't mind. I wanted him. I wanted him to come from Leeds. I wanted him to come from
For
Leeds.
sure, same. But उसकी family and उसका दिमाग और उसका social circle would mind.
His family. The problem is his family. Leeds won't let his family stay. Dude, exactly, because he's proper Yorkshire born, Leeds born, as Leeds as they come. So that was the problem. I would have absolutely loved Calvin Phillips, man. That guy is a tailor-made fit for our midfield.
You know what? If they obviously like there are ifs, buts, but like had he been the same player and had everything else been same, or अगर Leeds Premier League में नहीं आई होती, I think we would have got him. I think that exposure to the Premier League and more eyes.
Had they got relegated, yes, we would have. Had they got relegated the previous season,
Had they got वो आते ही नहीं अगर Premier League, man. Calvin Phillips would have been there. I think it wouldn't have been a transfer buzz wala thing. They would have been a championship side. They wouldn't have been Leeds for me. मेरे हिसाब से.
All right. So let's talk about Raya. So Raya's situation is suddenly turning into a very, very complicated and very, very tricky one. Why? Because Brentford have already gone and signed a keeper, Mark Flecken. The deal's done. They have a backup keeper in Thomas Strakosha, who's bought in last year as Raya's understudy. Now they have 2 keepers. They have Raya, who's the third. Now Raya doesn't mind leaving the club. Raya hasn't signed a contract extension yet, and he's been refusing to put pen to paper since Jan of this year, which is very clear that Raya wants the move to a big club.
Bertrand, their manager said as well.
Yeah,
I wish
Bertrand,
his agent has come out and said if okay. So
Bertrand, before talking about Raya, we are currently leading the race for Kim Min-jae. Newcastle is a close second. We'll have to wait until July when his release clause kicks in, because right now it's just noises about whether we are ready to, put attract him with his release clause, so on and so forth. So there are a lot of variables into consideration. We'll have to just see what it is. Coming back to Raya, Raya doesn't mind going for a free because Brentford have put an asking price of £40 million once again for a player who just have a year on his contract. The likes of Chelsea, Spurs and United, 3 clubs very much interested in his services. But like Sandeep Bhai said, that Raya's manager or Raya's entourage have gone out and said that we don't mind leaving the club as free agents next year as well. So Raya's future is a very dicey and an unpredictable one. So what are your thoughts for the price point of 40 million also? If they are quoting a price point of 40 million, would you take Raya? A brief lowdown, Raya's 27. he's completed the journey from non-league football to Premier League football, mind you. Despite being Spanish, he was being playing in non-league football in England for quite a while. Uh, he has quite a lot of the attributes that Ten Hag is looking for. His distribution from the hand is second to none. He's one of the best when it comes to that type of distribution. His short passing is a little touchy. His saves, very good. His command over the box, exemplary. Sweeping, excellent once again. Like Nea says, very complicated player. I'm not sure whether it's a risky signing, but complicated as in he has a lot of layers to his game. So, Antriksh, would you fancy Rea due to his Premier League experience, or would you go for a player? Would you go for the likes of a Diogo Costa, or maybe a wild card like an Andre Onana, considering Inter's financial situation? What are your thoughts on this goalkeeper? And do you think you would you go for Rea?
Yeah, I think I would, but my problem with me thinking is like I can't shift my focus from the base problems. Ten Hag bol diya hai repeatedly that he's gonna give contract out to David De Gea, and that can't escape my mind. And the salary he's on, even after a cut, he'd still be the highest paid keeper in the world, in one of the highest paid players in the Premier League, for sure one of the highest in our team. So to keep that guy on bench, 3 साल का तो contract देंगे ही हम उसे. Again, it'll be a problem. I don't know. And then if I somehow manage to ignore that, I don't think again 40 million is justified. One for a keeper with 1 year left on his contract. With all due respect, चाहे कितना भी अच्छा हो playing for Brentford, ठीक कर रही है, but 2 साल, 2.5, 3 साल या 2 साल, whatever, has come out of the championship. So where's all of this folk? He's never played for a big club like us. Wala, there's always this tag with us, especially in sensitive positions like keeping. So yeah, Charles is just. I wouldn't still, consider him the risky wala category, but as close as it gets with that tag, Any, yeah, exactly, yahi wala point. So yeah, I think first of all we have to sort out that De Gea thing. I think hum kitta bhi, like, it's like complete opposition from the fan base in terms of what ETH is saying. But ETH has been very adamant about the fact कि मेरे को तो चाहिए. We can't sort of seem to make sense of it because of the keepers we've seen him play with, plus what's De Gea been this season, plus we just know how De Gea is. He has won multiple. No one can ever take that away from him. जो उसने इतने सारे कारनामे, but we are asking fundamentally something of him जो उसके पास है ही नहीं. वो develop करेगा. He's developing his game, but we are not a learn on the job wala team, right? Especially on, again, keeping wali position में. तो वो first of all Soto, and yeah, 40 is ज़्यादा. Costa 65. Don't go there. Don't do a Kepa.
Fair enough. As far as the Raya situation is concerned, but then my school of thought is like he's 2 years in the Premier League is a huge deal. Let's irrespective of whether it's a promoted team or whatever team it is, 2 years in the Premier League is a very huge deal. He's made the team of the season this year. As far as the Who Scored team of the season is concerned, so he's made the team of the season for the Premier League as far as that is concerned. If we talk about the underlying numbers also, they're very promising. And another advantage that comes into mind, that is Rea is a Spaniard, which means that a lot of Spanish speaking players, so we could do a good deal there. For me, Rea has been on my eye ever since Brentford were in the championship, where they fucked up in the championship final. That's 3 years that I've been constantly keeping tabs on Rea, as in, and I've seen a lot of growth in his play. There are still some areas that need to be ironed out. If you look at the eye test as far as Rea is concerned, he does not pass with flying colors, but he does a pretty damn good job at what he does. So that is my take about the Rea situation. Sandeep, what are your thoughts on the Rea situation? Do you believe, like Nea said, like any goalkeeper, we've been witnesses to this. We've been big witnesses to the fact that any goalkeeper finds Old Trafford a different kettle of fish altogether. You can be a World Cup winner in the form of Fabian Barthez. You can be a highly rated prospect as David De Gea as well when he walked into the club. The pressure, the lights, and the intimidation that Old Trafford gives you, not just as far as the fan base is concerned, but the entire aura of that stadium is an entirely different kettle of fish. So you need to be mentally, you need to be Arnold Schwarzenegger like strong as far as your mentals is concerned. So, what are your thoughts about the goalkeeping situation? On do you believe Raya is the answer to it, or do you think that there is some other goalkeeper who can do the job for us?
What I would like to say is De Gea, for all his mistakes, he's a legend of the club. So he knows how to handle the pressure of Old Trafford, which is not so easy as people think. And any keeper coming to our team would have to, learn under his tutelage for maybe one season at least. I think the way to go would be not doing anything about the keeper situation right now, like take a backup like a Butland kind of signing. Uh, Next year, let's keep De Gea. The following year, I would bring in a high profile like a Diego Costa, the way Liverpool or the way Man City did it with Ederson and Alisson, respective, whatever. Conversely, I would bring in a high profile Diego Costa or maybe someone like, I don't know if Donnarumma might come if Qatar comes in. I know it's a way too huge an ask for a Manchester United fan, but I love that. I would want him to be our goalkeeper so much. But I am saying a high profile goalkeeper should come in, and that second year they would be challenging each other, and the third year he takes over from De Gea when his contract would also be expiring for De Gea. So I think that is, I feel, in my opinion, that would be the way to go, because next year De Gea is dead on, spot on for the spot. So I don't think he would be no, I like bringing in a new goalkeeper right now. I don't think would make sense, because we need to sort out other priorities first. And even if it is 40 million, I would not want to waste that on a goalkeeper right now.
Yep, fair enough, Sandeep bhai. So I think we've covered the entire transfer silly season that has happened. It's only the first day of June, and look at the amount of targets that we've spoken out in this hour or so. We've spoken about at least 6 to 7 players, and we've yet to cover the thought of Neymar being seduced by the idea of joining United. Yeah, the exact words are seduced. So there are a lot of things that are left to talk about, but I think we will talk about that in due course. There is the entire transfer window left to cover. We have the small matter of an FA Cup final, which is there in less than 2 days from now. Yeah, and we've covered everything there is to cover in this video. Antariksh bhai, Sandeep bhai, thank you so much for joining in. It was a pleasure talking to you guys about the current situation that has enveloped our club as far as the transfer silly season is concerned. The expectation and the hope is basically that we just get this ownership situation sorted out as quickly as possible. We have less than 2 weeks left for the transfer window to officially open, and hopefully by then there is a resolution that comes in and we have a proper structure in place. Till that point, let's hope that we make good sales, raise a decent amount of money, and use the additional revenue that we've got from the Champions League qualification as well.
Yeah,
Hopefully that
67
happens.
million.
It
That's
comes
the
down
state
to
of us कि अब वो additional income बन गया है.
हाँ.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, with that being said, this is Delvin along with Antariksh and Sandeep wishing all of you a good night. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to as many people as possible. Do follow us on our socials on Instagram and Twitter. We are always and perpetually active there. Drop us a follow. We'd love to have you on board. Also, thank you to all of them in the chat for letting us know your opinions. There's some very interesting ones, there were some very hilarious ones, and there were some which hit right in the spot. So it is always brilliant to know what you guys think about, and it helps us to get an opinion of what the wider section of the fan base also thinks about. Like I said earlier in the stream, our aim is to reach 2,500 subscribers by the end of this month. So please subscribe to our channel. Also, every day is match day on our official WhatsApp group. We are building up to the FA Cup final every day on our WhatsApp group, so we would love to have you a part of that ever-growing family as well. So, this is Delvin, Sandeep, Antariksh, wishing all of you good night. Stay safe, stay healthy, GGMU to all of you guys. Take care.